Alright, what's up? This is Jamison with Kozmo King TCG. Here with my man Birdman, and what are you going to show us today?
We got ourselves some heroes. Now let's get into this. Right now we have 3 Vion. Vion here is essentially one of the best cards of the deck and starts off our combos so that we can make our big Darklaw Nat Beast boards. Essentially when it's normal summon, I get to send any hero from my deck to the grave, and if it has a second effect, once per turn I can banish any hero and search any poly strike straight from my deck to my hand. Next up we have is 3 Malicious. The Maliciouses are there, you have to run it at 3 so that you can link climb using it. Next up we have 3 Elemental Hero Solid Man, or Solid Soldier. I run it at 3 so that we could essentially get him and another hero on board so that we can get into our Isolde plays. That's only when he's normal summoned. And its second effect is that if it gets into the grave by a spell effect, I could special summon any hero from my graveyard onto my field, and that essentially helps me get around some sticky situations with like hand traps or just destruction in general. Next up we have 2 Shadow Mists. We have to run him at 2 because we don't want to see him in hand too much, and we can special summon him off of Isolde or by Solid Man. And he essentially searches Mass Change so that we can special summon Darklaw or any of our other Mass heroes from our extra deck. And if we already have Mass Change in hand, we can then use him in Grave and use his Grave effect to search our Malicious or any hero that we need in our hand. Next up we have is our Wanos. We have Stratos, or Honest Neos, Destiny Hero Celestial, and Attack Gainer. We run Stratos at 1 because he's just the one free boy. And when he's normal summoned, or just summon in general, I can search any hero from my deck to the hand. And it has another effect when it's summoned. I could either, for each hero other than itself, I can destroy a spell or trap on my opponent's field up to the number. And with onto Honest Neos, I can essentially search him using E-Call or Shadow Mist. And essentially when I activate its effect, I can target my heroes and it gains 2500 attack. And next up we have is Destiny Hero Celestial. These are basically our Isolde target for searching, so that when we go off with our Gumblar plays, we could ditch him, and after doing our full out combo, we could activate its effect after ditching our card we drew on our new turn, and banish it with our 3rd Malicious to draw 2 free cards. Amazing, right? And then we have Attack Gainer, our 1 Earth Tuner monster that essentially opens our path for Nat Beast. Next up we have is our hand traps. I'm running 3 Droll Lockbird, 2 Ghost Ogre, and 2 Effect Veiler. I'm running the 3 Droll Lockbirds in main because I just don't want to see too many FTKs go off on me if I'm not going first, so that I can stop them in their tracks and just OTK them. And then we have the Ghost Ogres. The Ghost Ogres are essentially there so that if I'm going against the Dark Links, I could just stop their Isoldes or Summon Sorceresses so that I could stop their combos in their tracks. Same for Effect Veiler too. All I have to do is negate their effects, and what are they going to do, right? That wraps up the monsters. Next up we have is for our spells. We have 3 Mass Change. We have to run it at 3 so that we always see it, so that we could avoid hand traps if they decide to target my Solid Man or Vion, and so that we can go off for our link plays. Next up we have is 2 E-Call. I essentially don't want to run 3 because I don't want to see any of my Elemental heroes, but I'd rather want to see my other warriors and my deck, so that I can go off with my combos rather than being stuck with just the Elemental heroes. Next up we have is 2 Insta-Fusion, or not 2, 3 Insta-Fusion. We have 3 Insta-Fusion so that we could essentially summon our Dragoness, our level 3 fusion monster, so that we can link summon into our Noble Knight Link monster Isolde, so that we can just go off with our link plays and combos. Next up we have is 3 Magical Midbreaker Field. This card essentially stops most of the hand traps in the game currently, like Ghost Ogre, Effect Veiler, and what else? I think that's pretty much
It'll stop impermanence because it doesn't stop targeting.
Yeah, you're right, impermanence too. But other than that, it doesn't really stop Ash Blossom and Drool, but that's not really a problem because they really just want to get rid of our monsters rather than stopping our searching or special summons. Next up we have is 2 Called by the Grave. It's self-explanatory. We basically stop our opponent's hand traps from affecting our gameplay, or just to use it as a board presence for our opponent so that when they're going off with their plays and they just happen to have the monsters engraved and they're trying to activate an effect, we could just banish it and negate their effects. Next up we have is 2 Twin Twister. I main deck the Twin Twisters because I don't want to see back row, because it just puts pressure on me when I have to deal with cards that I can't really stop. And it sort of just gets on my nerves, so that's why I run it at 2. Next up we have is our 1-ofs. We have Monster Reborn, Soul Charge, Hornet Drone, A Hero Lives, Reinforcements of the Army, Polymerization, Foolish Burial, and that's for our 1-ofs. I run the Monster Reborn and Soul Charge for our extenders, so that if they happen to pop our Isolde, I can just bring it back and then continue our plays. Even though, like for Soul Charge, I can't do my battle, I can just make a board with it. Next up we have is Hornet Drone. Hornet Drone is the same for Instant Fusion. We basically just want a warrior on field so that we can link into our Isolde. Foolish Burial is there so that if we have to send Malicious Engrave and we can't do it by Bion, it's there for us. The Hero Lives. Yeah, we pay half our life points, but it's for the greater good so that we can always get our free pluses and another warrior on field so that we can link into Isolde. Reinforcements to the army. Self-explanatory, just search a free warrior from our decks so that we can just go off with our combos like Solid Man or Bion. And Polymerization is so that we can get into our Vision Hero Fusion monsters in our extra deck so that we can go for the OTKs. Next up we have is our equip spells. We have 2 DDR, 1 Overdone Burial, 1 Divine Sword, Moon Mirror Shield, and Living Fossil. I like running the 2 DDRs because when I special summon the monsters, they actually get their effects, and it's easy to banish them because of Divine Blade, or yeah, Phoenix Blade. Overdone Burial is there so that if we end up drawing it and a Malicious, we can just stitch the Malicious and special summon a monster straight back from our graveyard and go off with our link plays, essentially like that. Moonmere Shield, I run this one because if I happen to open it and I'm going second and they have a big monster on field, I can just equip it to any monster I want and just try to attack over it. And then continue my play in main phase 2. And for Living Fossil, same as Overdone Burial, just bring a monster back and continue to link climb. And that's it for our cards in the main deck. Next up we have is the extra deck. Next up we have is 2 Isolde. You have to run into in this build, mostly because if they get rid of the first one, you can just link into your second one and then go off with his second effect. Next up we have is 1 Summon Sorceress, so that we can link climb our way up to Gumblar, and or just to have an easier way of making that piece, essentially. Next up we have is Nightmare Cerberus and Phoenix. These 2 essentially help give rid of board presence on our opponent's side of the field, so that we can have less pressure on us. And for our Link Force, we have Sword Dragon and Topologic Gumblar Dragon. Gumblar Dragon could essentially, in our plays, pitch 4 cards from our opponent's hand. And what are they really going to do with Darklaw and that piece, right? And Sword is our OTK, essentially. Next up we have is our 1 Synchro Monster, Nappies. For those spell-heavy decks, we can just activate its effect, send 2 cards from our top of our deck to the graveyard, and negate the spell's effects. And for our fusion monsters, we have our Vision Hero Trinity, we have Adoration, Dion, Enki, and our 2 Darklaws, and the Dragoness. For the 2 Darklaws, it's so that if they get rid of our first Darklaw, we can always have another one in our extra deck to put back on board. Our Trinity is here so that we can get off with our OTK plays. And Adoration plus Bowl Sword is essentially an OTK by itself pretty much, as long as we have no interruption. And Enki and Dion are here so that if we want to go into our Master Change OTKs, we can always use Enki. And with Dion, it's so that if they try to affect Baylor or Ghost Ogre or Solid Man, we could just mass change into Dion. It's just a really good target to mass change into. And Dragoness is basically our Institution target, like I explained earlier. And that's pretty much it. Thanks, James.
Alright, thank you for showing us your deck, Michael. If you guys enjoyed this deck profile, please like, comment, subscribe down below for future content. Let us know what you think of the build and any opinions that you would have for Michael for the deck. And let us know what you guys think about the channel. Like, we're always looking to grow and give you guys what you want. Catch you guys later.